Here are 3 players to watch in the NCAA tournament that if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Everyone just loves New Mexico to upset. Number 6 have the potential to go at least one more round. Deron Holmes, Shahade Wells, and Enrique Freeman, 3 players you have to know about. There we go. Back in, everybody. Welcome back to the FTN College Basketball Betting Show. Mike Randle, your host here. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you had a great time. Ate a lot of food. I'm having a second Thanksgiving with my parents this weekend. So excited about that. As always, thank you for joining us here at FTN Fantasy. And now is the time to join us. If you have not already, what are you doing? You use the promo code, and it's going across the bottom of the screen there, BKVIP. BKVIP here at FTN Fantasy will get you 25% off certain packages, 20% off of a lot of packages. The only one is the core package. That's just the fantasy football rankings. Everything else, you get the details. You get the discount. You want to join us. Our models, everything we have going on are flying high right now. I've had 3 out of 4 money lines for the NFL. We hit our biggest edge with all the FTN models that we have that Frank Brand cooks up every night in the dungeon, gets them going. We had Carolina to cover the Chiefs. We had the Raiders yesterday to cover the Chiefs. No one had those anywhere. We did here at FTN. So you want to join us? College basketball, NBA, our charting, our data, everything is ready to rock and roll. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, if you're not here for the wedding, don't be here in March. We're grinding. We're getting ready. We're preparing for the March Madness where we're going to kill it each and every year. And we do that by taking 20 minutes out of our Saturday to join us here together for our college basketball family. As always, thank you for joining us here. We have our group is hopping here in the chat. We appreciate it. Dan, great to see you as always, buddy. I was up there in Massachusetts. Should have stopped by. Joe actually let me eat at the table, given my Vermont love. And Dan, we may go back to him again today. Don't worry about that. Dan lost a tough one with Gardner Webb. Gardner Webb was tough. That was a meltdown. It's very frustrating with Gardner Webb. I get it, Dan. There are some teams we like and sometimes it doesn't work out. Jameson, great to see you as always, buddy. Thank you so much. West Virginia, Jameson. West Virginia is a problem. Yes, they are, sir. Great job there. Appreciate it. Chris in the house. It's been incredible, Chris, right? Like the college basketball scene, the games have never been better. I've never seen an opening month like this. It's been absolutely beautiful. Can't wait at all. Ben, happy Thanksgiving to you, buddy. Dream, rise, and cash. Dream, when are you not cashing? Dream is already getting ready for baseball to get another 100 units, which is what he gets every single year. And DeVries, DeVries been great. He's brought it in. He's made you solid. He's a great coach. You are set there, Jameson, for quite a while. Let's get to the games today, folks. Go right around the horn. Remember, here are our picks. We've learned a lot. I have to pat myself on the back a little bit here. I feel like our coaches' reads are solid right now. I told you the UConn regression was coming, and it is. There's been several coaches that we faded. I mean, how about good old out at Iona? All the stuff that's going on there. They have struggled to cover, which is what I expected all year long. So I feel like our coaching reads have been totally solid. Tobin Anderson struggling. I'm going to go back to him again today, but I feel like everything that we have is really getting locked in. It's the best start we've had to a college basketball season, and we're looking forward to making it even better. I will go through the games today. Not all of them are a play, but I want to touch on some of them because I have thoughts on a lot of games. So you got to listen to what I say. Not necessarily every game I put up here is going to be a play. This one reminded me of the first game yesterday, and I didn't put this one in the Discord, and so I'm kicking myself. When you have bad teams playing, I look at the games and say, why is that spread so high? Yesterday, Alcorn State's playing South Alabama, spread 17.5. I have no idea why. I don't know why. And it's the same one here. Louisiana Tech is a really good team. Louisiana Tech is excellent. But Southern has played a very difficult schedule so far. And I think this is a line that is just reflecting what the records are as opposed to what the talent is. Southern has played Iowa away. They play Texas A&M away, and now they're playing Louisiana Tech. Now, Louisiana Tech is the favorite in Conference USA, and they've won every single game this year, and they're a perfect 7-0, and they're coming home. But they have Memphis coming up after this game. Next Wednesday, Louisiana Tech, Talvin Hester, excellent coach. They're going to Memphis. Sleepy spot, and I believe in sleepy spots. I just think that it's sluggish. They're coming off a lot of big wins, and I think this line is too high. It's too many points. If you don't like it, you can go half unit. I don't like this one. I think this is a very slow slog early game. And I think Southern, who has played teams tough away, can actually keep this game close. If you look at the metrics, they're not good against free throw line. I get that, but that's where I'm going. Colgate has not been good, but Colgate should not be getting 6.5 points against Sam Houston State. Colgate has not been great, but they are a very well-coached team. They have not been making threes, and this is eerily reminiscent of yesterday's game where we lost Scott Cross covers because Merrimack, a 20% three-point shooting team, 360th out of 365 teams, decides to go 15 to 25 from three-point range at Troy. Colgate is a good team. They're well-coached. They have struggled to start the year. They lost to App State on the neutral. They lost to Harvard away, NC State away, Syracuse away, Drexel away. I just believe in regression, and I think that Matt Langel is going to get it right. And this game is, again, on a neutral court in Wilmington, so you're not at Sam Houston State. Sam Houston State is horrific against the three. Sam Houston State is terrible on the defensive boards. They're just 3-4. They haven't inspired anything. So Colgate stinks, and they've struggled, and they've let us down. But it's a really good coach and a really good program on a neutral court against Sam Houston. You give me 6.5, I'll take it. Fine, no problem. In fact, Sam Houston State is going to Indiana after this game, so you can even say a little bit of a look ahead. And Colgate after this one is home to Cornell. Okay, so I think this is Colgate rallying the troops, getting better. I believe in it here. I don't like Green Bay, you know that, and that's burned us a little bit. Okay, it has burned us a little bit with Doug Gottlieb, but they can score. They sure as hell could score. They played Ohio State. And Anthony Roy is one of the big-time scorers in college basketball. I mean, this guy's banging 6 of 10, 8 of 12 threes. So why don't we go the over here against Campbell? I don't think Campbell's going to want to slow it down. I get that they play at a medium pace, but I think that Green Bay is going to get up and down the floor. I think they're going to play well. This is the third game in a row for Campbell on the road. Tough spot here. I'm going to go over with this game, 149.5. Green Bay, as much as I don't like Gottlieb, they can score. And I think that's what they're going to do here in this matchup. And if I had a prop on Roy, I'd take it. Okay. Over 149.5. This is a rivalry game here in New Jersey. Don't go by the records in this one. Seton Hall, great coach, phenomenal coach with Seton Hall and Shaheen Holloway, but they play at a snail's pace. They are 358th out of 365 Division I teams. They can't make free throws. Monmouth, they are 4-3. Monmouth is 0-8. So if you look at the record, you say this is an 0-8 team, but the game's in New Jersey. And when Monmouth played Rutgers, it was 98-81. They covered. Okay. So we're going to take the 14.5 here. I am a sucker to take games that are between teams that are in the state when one is getting a lot of points. I think Monmouth keeps this game close. I don't think Seton Hall runs away from anyone. I think King Rice has his team ready. 14.5. I'm going to take it every single time when you have an intra-state game in this matchup. I don't care about the records. We're taking it there. Can Georgia Tech beat somebody by 24 points? Can they really do that? Are we sure about that? They got excited when they played Georgia. I get that. And they ended up losing that game, Georgia Tech. They play at a fast pace. They did beat Charleston Southern at home by 24. Okay. But here comes Central Arkansas. Central Arkansas has had a decent schedule. They played away at Utah. They played UNC Asheville and beat them at home in 2 overtimes. This just seems like a lot of points. And as you know, the underdogs that we've been hitting this year are at a phenomenal pace. I must be hitting underdogs at like 75% this year. Favorites, I've struggled. Not a favorite guy. I'm an underdog guy. Rocky. Okay? All that stuff. I'm going to take 23 points with Central Arkansas. I don't think Georgia Tech is good enough to blow a second team out in a row. They're not great from the free throw line. They're not shooting well. They don't turn you over. Georgia Tech, they're very much sit in the lane, helping recover, that sort of thing. So I don't think there's a lot of turnovers, and I think this is a classic spot here. You have Georgia Tech. After this game, they play Oklahoma and North Carolina, 2 games away. So again, another classic sleepy spot. It's just a lot of points. I'll grab it every single time. I can feel the pain coming through this stream right now. I can feel you right now. Give me the look of that GIF, the kid of the GIF like this. I get it. I'm going back to Vermont. It's very tough for me to pass on value, on betting value. John Becker is a great coach. They have struggled all year. They're not covering. They just played Plattsburgh State at home and only won by 23. I get it. They're better than Northeastern. They're a better team than Northeastern. And I think they're going to win this game. It was at 3.5 last night. Northeastern played away at Florida Gulf Coast and they won by 4. They played away at BU and won by 8. Vermont hasn't looked good. If you want to take Northeastern and stick it to me, that's fine. I'm taking Vermont again. I'm going to keep doing this because I do believe in regression. When there are teams that are playing above their head that I don't think are very good, they're going to come back. We made a lot of money fading Hubert Davis. We made a lot of money fading Juwan Howard. We made a lot of money fading John Shire. We're going to keep doing that. I'm going to go back to him. They're going to get it right. I get it. You don't want to do it. They didn't cover against Buffalo at home. They didn't cover against Delaware. They lost a neutral at Fairfield. This is the bottom of the barrel for Vermont, and I'm going to keep doing it. And if you don't like it, hit like, subscribe, of course, and then yell at me in the chat. I'm fine with that. Vermont -4.5 against Northeastern. Sleepy spot for Wisconsin. They've been a juggernaut. They've been incredible, but this is a sleepy spot, and I just don't think they care about this game. Chicago State has actually been competitive, trying to keep games close. They have Michigan coming up. That is their Big Ten opener on Tuesday. Then they go Marquette. Then they go Illinois. They just came off the win over Pittsburgh on a neutral court. Why are they getting up for this game? Chicago State, not great, but they've played away at Indiana State. They played Texas away. They've played some decent teams. 35.5 is a lot. I get it. If you want to bet that Wisconsin wins by 40 and John Tange continues to hit 8 threes, that's fine. I'm taking Chicago State. Given how hot I've been with underdogs, it's very difficult for me to lay 35.5 points. I don't care if it's the Warriors. I just don't care. I'll take it. Law of efforts here. Shout out to my buddy, Chris Kearns, on the stream here, Gus Kearns. Law of efforts here for Notre Dame. No Marcus Burton. They lost him. Great job by Micah Shrewsbury. And they lost to Elon at home with Burton. Then they go to the Rutgers game. They battle. They lost to neutral. They play tough against Houston. This is a law of efforts game. Creighton needs this game badly. Creighton has lost 3 in a row. Creighton battled Texas A&M. They got Ashworth back. We got that cover, that outright win. Barely. It was really close. Ryan Kalkbrenner should dominate here. There is no interior presence for Notre Dame. I love what Micah Shrewsbury is doing. If they had Marcus Burton, I'd probably take them here. It's 6.5. It's a lot of points. I'm not great with favorites, but I'm going to lay it here with Notre Dame. I think it's law of efforts. I just think they're struggling and they're really battling right now. And you have a desperate Creighton team on the other side. Pop Isaacs was 5 of 10 from 3-point range. Ashworth started to get going. He was 4 of 9 again. Jackson McAndrews, a really lanky freshman. He looks good. I'm going to take Creighton here and lay the points. I have some issue with Mount St. Mary's. I like them. I think Mount St. Mary's can actually cover. I don't think Howard is good enough to cover. This game is home at Howard. That's fine. Mount St. Mary's, I think, has been pretty close in terms of keeping games close. You look at Howard, they're terrible. They're on the worst team, one of the worst teams in college basketball at defending inside the 2-point line. They're terrible on defense. They also turn the ball over a ton. I don't know why that's a recipe for 7.5 points against anyone. Not that Mount St. Mary's has been great in Donnie Lynn's first season taking over. But they are great at defending the 3-point line. They did win away at Bucknell in 2 overtimes. They battled Maryland for a little bit. They played Georgetown. They played St. Francis. They won. So they've been competitive in games. And Howard's stats are just not good. We'll take the Mount plus 7.5. I don't like Delaware at all. Riders at home. I'm going to take a team, a sort of proximal rivalry game, plus 1.5 every single time. Not a big play there that you can sprinkle on it. Rutgers is playing at a fast pace. Be careful with this one because they don't have a center. So they are pushing it up and down the court. I'm also fine with taking Rutgers plus the points. I believe it's 4.5. If you want to bet against Dylan Harper right now, by all means, I do not. Dylan Harper is playing very much like an elite top 15 draft pick coming up. They played Alabama. They lost by 5. They played the Notre Dame game. They came back to win. Yes, they lost at Kennesaw, but they're starting to figure it out, and they have talent on this team. If they can lose by 5 to Alabama and Dylan Harper can have 37 points and Ace Bailey can have 22, I certainly think they can keep this game close. The number has risen. I will go under in this matchup because I think Texas A&M can really struggle to score. And if Wade Taylor is not hot, they're very beatable. I also would like you to consider taking Rutgers and the points here. Well-coached team doing very well. St. John's, we see the worst of them when they can't make shots. I think they are going to start hitting some shots. I think the regression will come positively for them. They are now home, St. John's, in this matchup against Harvard. Harvard is coming off a loss at home to Massachusetts. They have really struggled. I think Rick kicks it up here a little bit. That's a bad loss against Georgia. They want to get back in the positive way. They have to start winning some of these games easily in the non-conference because this is a St. John's team that wants to make the tournament. And assuming they do well in the Big East is fine, but you don't. They lost the game to Baylor, which they should have won. They also lost the game to Georgia. So what have they done in the non-conference? New Mexico at home, I guess. This needs to be a comfortable win against Harvard. I think the pace kicks up here. We will go over 144. I think they get to 80 in this matchup. So give me an 85-63, something like that, and we hit the over. Furman is really good. Furman is undefeated. I get Kansas at home, but they've struggled in these spots. I remember when Shaka was always able to play well at Kansas. Bob Ritchie is a really good coach. Kansas is coming off a massive win over Duke. They have to go away to Creighton. They have Missouri. They have some tougher games coming up. This is a classic sleepy spot. Bob Ritchie's group is 7-0. Bob Ritchie's group is great at shooting threes. Bob Ritchie's group is great at defending the threes as well. And oh, by the way, Furman's average height is 81st in the nation. So you have Furman, a classic small school that shoots the three well, that's really well coached, that likes to make threes, and has some decent height. So maybe they can limit Hunter Dickinson. I love Kansas. I love Bill Self. I don't think they've cured all their problems. It was a nice win over Duke, especially when Dickinson got kicked out. 21.5 is a lot. I'm going to take a Furman team who hasn't really been tested yet this year, but I think they're live in this matchup. I will take them there. If you don't know about Drake, you need to wake up. Drake loses their head coach, longtime head coach. Yeah, Drake loses their longtime head coach in Darian DeVries. He goes to West Virginia. Jameson's really happy. Ben McCollum comes in from the Division II program where he's been outstanding. He brings 4 of his players from Division II because he doesn't want to get involved with the transfers. And as a new coach for Drake, it's going to be hard for him to attract those players. He needs to get some wins. Well, what Ben McCollum has done is has Drake at 6-0. And you have a Drake team that beat Stephen F. Austin at home. They went to Miami. They played Miami in a neutral and they won by 11. They played Florida Atlantic in the neutral, won by 12. They played Vanderbilt in the neutral. So they're beating big-time teams. They beat an SEC team in Vanderbilt. Now they have Georgia Southern at home. They do go away to Valpo to start their conference play. They start play inside the Missouri Valley after this. But I can't sleep on Drake. Drake is that good. I don't like laying 14.5 points. Georgia Southern has just been okay. They're good at defending the three, but they're terrible at turnovers. I get this could be a sleepy spot. It's not a big play for me. It's a half unit, but I can't fade Drake anymore. You remember years ago, we ran the table with Drake with 16-0 and 16-0 with covers. They're hot. McCollum is hot. Drake is playing well. I'm sticking with them until I get burned. It's a big number. If you don't want to do it, I get it because I'd rather take underdogs, but I can't fade Drake right now. And they're really hot and playing really well. We've done well with Omaha. I think the wrong team is favored here. Nebraska, Omaha, playing this game at home against Abilene Christian. They are good at shooting threes. They are good at rebounding. They're one and done. Abilene Christian comes in. They're just 4-3. They've been horrific on defense. They are horrific. They are the worst team, Abilene Christian, at defending the three-pointer. No team in college basketball has been worse at defending the three-pointer than Abilene Christian. They are allowing their opponents 50.6% from three-point range. And newsflash, guys, that's Texas State, that's Middle Tennessee State, that's Southern Miss. They're now going away. This is their 4th straight game away from home. They have played away, at a neutral, away, and away again. Nebraska has done well for us. They are a good three-point shooting team. I think the wrong team is favored here. I like them at home against Abilene Christian. Oregon continues to get disrespected. Anyone who plays basketball in the northwest part of the country, for some reason, gets no respect from the bookmakers. I like Alabama, but they're very three-point dependent. Dana Altman is a superior coach. Oregon has been playing well. This number has now ticked up to 6. The other thing that I think is a problem for Alabama that they have to address is the interior play has not been great for them. Cliff Amaruri has come over, and he was the big man who came over from Rutgers, and he has not been good. He has not been 15-10, not what they need. So the problem is they're expanding out the defense on these players. I think that Nate Biddle can get Cliff Amaruri in foul trouble, and I think this team can really play well. I'm fine with a money line play here. I think Oregon, who the only game that I've seen Oregon struggle with this year was the Portland game at home. That's fine. You have those rivalry, Portland, Oregon. They beat up on San Diego State. They beat up on Texas A&M. They beat Oregon State away, which is not easy. Oregon State was decent. They were undefeated going in that game. Scott Cross covers. They drilled by 21 at home. I like Oregon. No one does. No one gives any respect. Put some respect on the Ducks' name today. +6 against Alabama. I really want to take Purdue Fort Wayne here against East Texas A&M. It's just a lot of points, and I get nervous laying this amount of points on the road. I love Purdue Fort Wayne. I think this is another team that we can take advantage of because we're in the know and we love college basketball. They are on the road at East Texas A&M. Remember, East Texas A&M was Texas A&M Commerce. They just renamed the school. East Texas A&M is terrible. They're 60% from the free throw line. They're 26% from three-point range, and they are the top, one of the worst 5 teams in college basketball at turnovers. And Purdue Fort Wayne plays at a really fast pace, gets up and down the floor. They just lost on the neutral to Radford, but East Texas A&M doesn't play the same style as Radford. That's not going to work. It's just too many points. So I like it, but I don't like enough to make an official play, but I wanted to talk about it there. I am going to take Coastal Carolina at home every single time. I have made so much money off of Coastal Carolina at home. They're playing USC upstate. This is a rivalry game, but Coastal is a team that I always back because they play really well at home. They're great at defending the three-point line. They do play at a slow pace, so you have to be careful. And they did lose at home to Jacksonville State, but now you're playing an USC upstate team that is quite different than that. They are 290th in average height. They're not going to kill you on the boards. They're not great on the boards at all. They're terrible on defense. It's a lot of points, but I like Coastal at home, so I'll make it a half-unit play there. Let's see how the day goes with this one. I don't think Montana State, the way they play, should be favored by 5.5 over CSUN ever. Montana State and CSUN, this is a pretty even matchup to me. So coin flip games, the way underdogs have been hitting this year, I'll take them there. See how the day goes for this one. App State is back. I think App State is back. Dustin Kearns always gets it right, and I think he's got it right again. This is a young team that only returned 22% of their minutes, so that's why they struggled. Miami of Ohio at home, they lost. Wisconsin away, but Dustin Kearns is a really good coach, and I love betting really good coaches who have struggled. John Becker, Vermont. So I think they beat UNT. I think they win this game, but I think it's going to be a low-scoring affair against UNC Wilmington, who was great last year and I loved, but they haven't been great on offense either, and they're only shooting 20% from three-point range. I think this is sort of a defensive slog. App State usually gets their pace when they win, especially. I'll take them there. LaSalle +1, Philadelphia rivalry, 2 teams in that same area. I'm going to take a home underdog every single time blindly. I don't care if it's Drexel, Temple, UPenn. I don't care. I'm going to take LaSalle plus the point at home against Temple. You want to go money line, it's fine. I think the money line is -110, the plus, and the LaSalle is -115. You take the point. Every single time I'll take it. It's a rivalry game. No problem there. Georgetown likes to run. Albany also likes to run. I've struggled with Georgetown covering big spreads. I don't want to do that right now. I'll take the over of 146.5. I think both teams get up and down the floor. And finally, Marist plays really good defense, and Lehigh may not be able to shoot the lights out against Marist and John Dunn's defense. So we'll go the under 139.5 there for that one. Let's get to your comments. You guys have been patient. I really appreciate it. Not a great slate today, not a lot of big-time games, but these are the games where we have to focus and get these games right and get ourselves secure as we get into conference play, which is coming really, really soon. Here we go. Let's see. Yep, they cashed some tickets. Let's go, Kyle. Yep, we're doing pretty well. Let's see. Yeah, I get it. I get it with Billy Cohen, Chris, but Billy Cohen can stink too. You know, Billy Cohen can have some nice wins when he's a 15-point underdog. He's been there forever. They're very up and down. They're not home in this one. If he was home, I get it. And Vermont's been terrible. I understand that one as well. Jerry Nass in the house. Jerry, a little geometry later. What do you say? Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Stay away from me, Ben, on this one. I'll pull this one up. I did see this. Let's see what we got here. Milwaukee. Yep. Bart Lundy at Milwaukee. They lost to the UCF game. They have Southern Miss. Now the game is away. Not making their free throws. Good on the boards as they always are. Southern Miss. Yeah. I just think there's better spots here. You got Southern Miss, who's lost 3 straight games, coming home against Milwaukee. No read on this one at all. And then you feel with Maine and Penn. I don't think UPenn's very good, Dan. But has Maine been good this year? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, probably lean Maine. You getting points there? Well, they're favored. They favored. Depends what the line is. Penn has not been good with Steve Donahue. They've lost 4 straight games. It's a stay away. I like me. It's a stay away. Yeah, I love Old Miss here, Alec. I appreciate it. Love Old Miss. I was at my brother-in-law's house, and we were sweating that Old Miss game against BYU, but they came back, and they also play well against Purdue. Should have won that game, in fact, against Purdue. I'm not a Purdue guy. I've been fading them. That has actually worked pretty decently for us as well, so we like them there. Guys, that is it for today. We appreciate it. Let's make sure that we get that promo code, which is on the bottom. You want to join FTN Fantasy, BKVIP, NBA, NFL, all the great stuff. The games, March Madness. You want to get it now. You get that code. You lock it in. It is the best deal we're going to have here at FTN Fantasy the entire year. So Black Friday, this is live until Monday. Make sure you get in there. You get in the Discord. Get the plays right away. I'm putting some live plays in as well, and we're set to go. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back Tuesday. Back Thursday. Again, I'm on Sirius XM from 1 to 3. So the time may change. Looks like it'll be in the morning. Those Tuesday, Thursday shows will probably be in the morning, but we're always back on Saturday as well. As always, FTN Fantasy. We're grinding. We're heading to March. And you know what we do? We give you the edge. Here are 3 players to watch in the NCAA tournament that if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Everyone just loves New Mexico to upset number 6, have the potential to go at least one more round.